3, 2, 1 on mine. All right. Welcome, everybody, to Chapter 4 of our The One Ring campaign, entitled Of the Rings of Power and the Ruin of Numenor. This is our The One Ring RPG put out by Free League, and it's based in the Second Age. We try to stick to the lore as much as possible. Of course, we do need to stretch things. Not as much as the Ring of Power, but we stretch things when it suits our goals and needs. So with us tonight, as always, we have Targon, played by Wanderer. We have Baranor, played by Zypher. And last but not least, Hollis, played by Sim. And we'll kick it off here with a little change of scenery. Edwaith, Vinyalonde, winter. All right, everybody should see that. Wintry scene with some ships.
It's affirmative.
Show players. There we go. Chapter 4 introduction. Autumn in Edwaith is full of color. Deep gold, regal crimson, and orange, the color of the setting sun, touches the palette of the picturesque landscape that surrounds Vinyalonde. The new city's spires catch the gentle light, reflecting it back to your eyes in delicate rays that dance and glitter all the way out to the blue waves at sea. The autumn is long, but does soon give way to a mild winter. A few days there is a dusting of snow, but for the most part the labors of Aldarion and his company are unhindered. For the timber that arrived down the Gwathlo earlier in the year is now being fashioned into bow and stern, hull and mast, rudder and sail. And what of the brothers, Targon and Baranor? They who brushed with the first whispers of shadow and sensed that all may not be well, that peace may not last in Middle-earth. What of he who was cursed by a shade, and who now bears a mysterious pendant? And what of the hardy seaman, Hallis, he who bears witness as the hearts of men are challenged and falter? Do these men rest on their laurels, or explore Vinyalonde, treating with their lord, or pore over maps and charts? Or perhaps they seek solitude and the healing of the heart with song or poetry. For in the dark forests of Edwaith they perhaps feel the first fingers of a shadow that will one day cover all of Middle-earth and even Westernesse. And it is in the nature of men to dwell upon his sorrow. And so we're going to open up with autumn going into winter, and then eventually winter going into spring. And this will bring us to this game's first fellowship phase. Off-screen, all three of you have kind of communicated to me what you want to do, mechanics-wise. But we'll just go top to bottom here, and narratively we'll kind of spell out what you did throughout the winter, and make rolls if we need to, and have a little role play. So, Baranor, do you want to kick us off?
Yes. So Baranor, upon his return from the timber camp.
The timber camp.
He set about just busying himself with work. The first few evenings were a little harsh. He would remember that night of battle, the things that went down. But as the days passed, the stress from that night, the feelings of darkness and shadow, soon just fade back into his subconscious as nights turns into weeks turns into months. But in the day, he is mainly focused on helping build these ships, running around, putting his back into any task that's given to him. He wants Aldarion's expedition to be successful, he wants to see more of Middle Earth. For some reason, he believes that his brother will make his name here, and if his brother can make his name here, then the house of Nimruzir will stand proud again. So soon, he's back to his happy ways again. The fight in the woods, just a mere memory, almost faint, like a whisper that he can barely remember. And now all he thinks about is what else lies out there, and what more can he see in this Middle Earth. But there was this one part during the fellowship phase which was interesting. I would say this would be like deep in winter when it is coldest, and there's more moonlight than sunlight those parts of the days, and the chain with the medallion that he wears on those nights seems to have a hum, seems to be drawn to that particular time of the year. And he spent many a cold wintry night looking into any and all texts, trying to find out what he could about this medallion that has made its way to him and that he now wears.
So,
I don't know.
Very good. Do you want to do the your fellowship phase undertaking now? The role play associated with that?
No, I thought maybe everybody could go and then I can. Yeah.
Sounds good. Paulus, you're next.
Hollis, after returning back from the timber camp, seeing fresh from battle and always trying to be encouraging to the men, feels a little braver, so to speak, after the ambush where he stood for a moment alone against the bandits. Returns and embraces being back in Westernesse arms, whether it be helping men with the ships or encouraging them along, knowing that idleness is a sickness, and too much work is also. So he always tries to keep the men happy and continuing on their tasks to finish efficiently, to go to the tavern afterwards or have a drink with their friends. Moving back and forth between them all, including his own friends, Tarragon and Baranor, after seeing some struggles there after the fight, keeps trying to check in on them and keep their hearts up and moving forward as well. Yeah, during the downtime, he as the winter goes on and stretches into the long haul, he spends more time trying to be around his friends, just to keep them close, knowing that sometimes the friendship and fellowship is all you have. Even though Baranor spends time away, less time in the tavern, more time reading over scrolls. He pays that no mind. Anything that keeps him happy is a bonus in his book.
Targon.
Targon, on the journey back to Vinyalonde from the logging camp, he is brooding. He's obviously gone to a dark place that's been clear for a while, and then what he saw there, with some of the bandits setting fire to the village and children dying and everything. It was pretty dark, and he's always been a little bit solitary, but this time there's a darker edge to it. But then as season wears on, as they make their way back, as they're back in Vinyalonde, and he's in a calmer place and amongst other men of Westernesse, he starts regaining a little bit more of his former optimism. Part of him seems to have changed forever, but part of him is recovering from the dark place he's gone to. But he really does focus on two main things. One is he's constantly training with the sword. He's convinced that there is a threat out there, and that he needs to be prepared for it. And the other thing is that he's trying to get the ear of the prince, and so to do that, he's spending a little time sort of trying to polish up his slightly rusty court manners, and also just sort of thinking about how he can kind of influence the prince. But not so much now. It's not so much now his old obsession with restoring the fortunes of their house, although he still cares about that. Now there's just this much more pressing concern in his mind that he really feels that on this side of the ocean, darkness lurks everywhere, behind every corner, under every stone, behind every tree, behind every smile of a stranger. There is darkness biding its time, and he really wants to find ways of alerting Aldarion to this threat without sounding crazy. So that's basically his winter. He's come back mostly from the dark place, but his opinion of this continent and its people has not recovered at all. It's as low as it can be.
Excellent setting of the scene there. All right, we're going back to the top. You guys have all kind of spent your advancement points, your adventure points and skill points mechanically, so that's great. And you've all kind of very, I think, expertly described your fellowship phase undertaking in kind of a narrative way that fits with the story. So we'll kind of go back to the top there, going from the bottom up this time. Paranor. So perhaps as the mountains far to the north start to turn from white to the bases of them turn green, and the evergreens are again visible from the thawing snow, the warm winds from the south arrive, and the first breath of spring is in the air in Vinyalonde, and some of the new boats are even being put out into the bay, testing the waters, pun intended, and so where it was, and you've spent so much of this time kind of trying to find lore masters, pouring through old books and that sort of thing, and you think you found somebody that probably can give you the information you seek. It's an old wise woman that lives towards the outskirts of the town, and from what you've been told, she used to live far away from here, far to the east, and as Targon has alluded to, there have been kind of stragglers kind of coming into town all along the west coast of Middle-earth, and some of them even whispered of being displaced by wars and tyrants and that sort of thing that have risen in the east. So I'll let you take that away. You're on mute.
Sorry. So yeah, once Baranor finds that there's such a woman in town that can help him, at least tell him something about this medallion, he He leaves his quarters one fine day, finally stirring up the courage to go meet this woman, because he might or might not like what he hears from her. Um, makes his way through town, past the docks where all the new ships are being built, and he gives a smile. All that hard work through fall and winter is paying off, and the ships look sturdy and tall, and right for great passages that are yet to come. With that smile on his face, he's a spring in his step. He turns the corner, now starts getting into the not so nice parts of town. Eventually comes to what looks like a small hovel, with some incense, smells and smoke emanating from within. He goes up and, with a gentle knock, "It is I, Baranor of House Nimrazir, members of the party of Aldarion. Can I
You hear,
trouble you with some questions?"
yeah, you hear heavy boots kind of approach, and then somebody opens the door. You see a pale young man's face. It's a gentleman by the name of Brennan that you met in a tavern, perhaps after you're done pouring in books, and he told you about his grandmother, who recently arrived from the east and is somewhat of a lore master, and thought that maybe she could help you. Oh yes, yes, Baranor. I am so glad that you could find our house. It is not much to look at, but it is a far cry better than what my grandmother reports far to the east. Living on the outskirts of such a grandiose town is, well, it beats slavery by a long shot. My grandmother is in the bedroom. She is taken to her sick bed, unfortunately, but her mind is sharp. Yeah, as you kind of peek in, you can see like an old gnarled form kind of resting in bed. She's sitting up in bed, kind of propped up by a few pillows. She has looks to be some sort of tea kettle next to her on a nightstand, and not knowing you're even there, you see her pour herself a cup of some sort of beverage. Who is that, Brendan? Do we have visitors? Kind of answers, yes, grandmother. There's the man I told you about, of Westernesse. Oh, indeed. Send him in.
Baranor has to bow really low to make it through the doors, and enters this room and takes a seat beside her. "My name is Baranor."
Yes. She can kind of sense you sit next to her. Though in my old age, mine eyes hath failed me. I can imagine your visage, man of the West. Righteous, no, tall, broad shoulders and strong. Well met, Baranor.
In my travels recently, I came across a medallion hanging on a chain, and I wish to know the medallion's meaning to exist. What's its reason to exist? What's its purpose? And Varanor takes a chain from across his neck, and holding the medallion, he places it into the lady's palms.
She starts to speak before she takes it. She says, Jewelry? My grandson brought you all the way out here because of jewelry? Give it here, young man. She grabs it, and what little color was in Tilda the Blind's face seems to drain out of it as her milky white eyes kind of shoot open. Who gave you this? Though my eyes fail me, as I've said, my fingers sense much, and my heart grows dark even holding this. This is no mere jewelry, Baronor of the West. Tell me more.
I found it in the cart that a bunch of raiders were traveling with. They tried to raid my brother and I and my friends and the people who live up the Guatlo who send us timber. So we stood our ground and we repelled them, killed them all, and in their hoard I found this, and I took it for myself.
Oh, yes. Of course you would take it for yourself. Such trinkets always calls out to the hearts of men to take them for themselves. She kind of pauses for a moment. Even now, I find myself ill at ease handing it back to you, Baronor, but take this thing from me. It is a weight upon my soul, and my soul is frail and very nearly at an end. I must surmise that your soul is fresh and strong and bright. Perhaps it can even bear this small part of shadow. Do my fingers deceive me, or is it engraven with the shape of a wolf? Huh?
Yes, that is correct. It is the shape of a wolf.
And it is as I feared. Is my grandson told you from where I hail, far to the east?
That is all he has told me, that you are from the east, but where, I do not know.
Many leagues from here. Far from the light of Westernesse, for sure, where shadows lay across the land, petty kingdoms rise and fall, in a land by the name of Arun, which even the lore masters have forgotten the meaning of, but some of our small smoke means simply east. There's an inward sea there. That is where I was born, and until recently, where I lived. The place now is one of terror. I was pushed from my home as armies of men rose, taking away what was mine. My late husband's fields burned, my grandchildren, at least most of them, taken into slavery. That trinket is worn by some men in that land, messenger of a tyrant. I know not his name. He goes by many names, though most not speak openly of him without fear on their voice. It is said to bring messengers, skill, and charm in dealing with others. I do not see how such a thing could make one's tongue skillful, but that is what I have been told.
Thank you. This is most helpful. I shall wear it always, and it shall guide me in helping my brother.
You can bear this burden. I am not one to tell you not to. But
For my brother,
the,
I shall bear all burdens. This is but a trifle.
yes, what starts as a splinter in the finger soon can fester and become infected. So it is with the shadow across men's hearts. Take care, Baronor. Though this may aid you in a time of need, beware what this trinket asks of your soul. Let me
That is a
pull this.
heavy question that I will ponder many a night. Thank you. It is a warning that I shall heed and do my best to not lose myself. Maybe a day will come and I will have the strength that I do not need it any longer and can throw it by the wayside.
She nods slowly. One more thing, Baranor. And she kind of gestures for you to come closer. Dark have been my
He
dreams of
leans
late.
over.
Kind of says to you. Let's see here. The wise woman.
Why have your... Did you say dreams, right?
Yes.
Why have your dreams been dark? Are you not safe here? Do you not feel safe?
I am safer here than where I hailed from. But my life soon will be an end. And fear fills my nights. But also where I am from, I have been said to have a gift. There are times when my visions and my dreams have become more reality than I would like to believe. As of late, visions of malice fill my slumber. Visions beyond sight of my failing eyes, of war and famine, of woe and pain, and of a salivating wolf, not unlike that on that trinket, so hungry for vengeance that its appetite and hate of the West knows no bounds. You are with Prince Aldarion, no?
Yes, I am. Indeed, I am with his company.
It is always his nature, as is the nature of most men of the sea, to roam and explore. But know this, Baranor, there are forces in this Middle Earth that preceded you, and the spirits of the rivers and forests and seas have been restless as of late. Do take heed. Do not tempt fate when good judgments demand you return home to the West. I would not like, as I said before, my dreams to become a reality. You must follow your prince, your king. But follow good judgment. Do not press into dark places when you are not welcome.
I respect your wisdom, old woman. I hear what you're saying, and I will do my best to keep my company safe. But it is also in the nature of us men from the West to not shy away from the obstacles that we may face.
She nods slowly. Now, send my grandson back in. He said that he was making some soup for me, and I would dearly like some.
Yes, I will. Take care and be well. And with that, Baronar turns around and bows lowly, going through the door. When he gets to the boy, he says, "Take care of her." And he, gives the boy some few coins, enough to help them get by for a few months at least. Um,
Very
Thank
good.
you. And with that, Baranor steps out. The spring in his step is gone. He can feel that now it's almost like a slight tug around his neck because of the weight of that medallion. Just seems to have gotten just a little heavier. And for some reason, he turns around and looks to the east. It's almost he cannot explain why, but yeah, he knows that's where he will be at some point. Some decisions that he has made along the way that he may not be able to fully justify with hindsight now. And then for some reason, he just has this slight like unease, as if a memory of a shadow of a war, of a fight in the woods, and he kind of remembers, and he doesn't understand why he gets that flashback, and then he gets it, and he remembers Targon executing the captain of the raid, the raiders, and Baranor looks to the east again and kind of shakes his head. He can't place what and understand what meaning of the visions he saw, and turns around and starts walking back towards the center of town where he knows Hallis would be in one of the taverns. He needs a drink.
And wonderful. So mechanically, that amulet has a shadow taint. So while you're carrying it, you get 2 shadow points. Once you drop it or somebody else has it, that just goes away.
Cool.
But it also has 2 blessings on it. It has a blessing on lore and persuade, and those are very good. They actually give you +2 success die to roll when
nice.
you do so equivalent of 2 ranks. So pretty powerful, but also quite dangerous. And the wrong people might recognize it too, obviously. So narratively, you look to the east. The sun is starting to set, and as you mosey down the street, you can hear voices raised in laughter and a gladness, perhaps mingling with your nervousness and anxiety, Baranor. And you enter one of the taverns. And we will segue into Hallis here. Hallis is raising everybody's spirits for his fellowship undertaking. So your whole group gets +1 fellowship points. So for this adventuring phase, each session you're treated with 4 fellowship points instead of 3 for the rest of it. So Hallis, what are you doing at the end? Or in the tavern?
Hallis just enjoying his enjoying some brandy, carrying on with those who have ventured in there, trying to raise everybody's, not just his fellowships, but just trying to raise everybody's morale up and keep it up, knowing that the adventure is continuing soon enough, and the more mentally prepared for the long journey, the better, and the happier they are going into it, the harder it is for them to be. They have the morale lowered, so he's happily prodding people to sing some songs and sharing drink, just enjoying himself after the whole experience up at the timber camp, and knowing that the men and did some great work with the ships and everything, just to kind of get them to let loose.
Great. Do you want to talk with Baranor in the tavern, or do you want to move on to Targon?
When he sees Baranor out there, and he will definitely go over to his friend, knowing that he's been slaving away at whatever it was he was doing, instead of joining him at the taverns drinking at night. Baranor, you finally joined me.
And Baranor is kind of still has this, this kind of cloud hanging over him as he makes his way into the tavern. And then as soon as he hears Hallis's voice, he kind of perks up, and immediately he's been lifted out of this fog of thought. Hallis, my friend, it's been so long since I have walked into these hallowed halls of drink and merry.
Yes. No doubt busy with whatever it is you wanted to do. Hopefully it worked out in your favor.
It is hard to say if it is favored or ill-favored at this point. But I do know what it is that I wanted to be found, and I have found the answers I was looking for. So I think, at least in that sense, my quest has come to an ending. Whether the ending is of just or unjust nature, time will tell. Come, I need some brandy in me.
And Hollis giving him a weird look at what he said. Ah, yes. Brandy has a way of making stuff of just nature. Doesn't matter if it was unjust to begin with. And he pours him a small horn of brandy there. By all means, please partake, for we are just celebrating
And what is it that we are celebrating?
the completion of the ships, the start of a new journey. The spring come and the snow melt.
Yes, you are right, Hallis. That is exactly what I was missing. I have been land-bound for too long, and with that have come thoughts of question and uncertainty, some of anxiety, some of fear. No, you are right. We must adventure. Only through adventure can we push these doubts away and live.
Yes. But fear is a killer. However, fear is easily defeatable. Just be brave and look forward. Never look back. And lift your legs, of course.
And Baranor kind of looks around at everybody and he kind of screams loud, "Lift with your legs!" Anybody and everybody in the tavern who has been trained by Hallis turns around and screams the same.
Yeah, everybody just kind of cheers. Lift with your legs!
Yes, see, the men are in good spirits. But you are correct. Idleness and passiveness, being locked on land, does make one dwell into mind too much. Release yourself with the brandy. Enjoy the night. Work hard the next.
Wise words, my friend, wise words. And I shall put that to the test.
Hear,
With
hear.
that, Baranor raises his glass again and downs the brandy and starts laughing.
And as the two friends enjoy themselves amidst many other fellows and seamen and wanderers that have wandered west of Vinyalonde, the sun fades and there's a screen wipe, and we find ourselves in the company of Targon. Who knows where and who knows when. But Targon, it seems, has another aim. His fellowship undertaking is meet with patron. I think that's what you said, right?
Yeah.
Meet with patron. Okay, so just to recap, Baranor's was study magical item. Hallis's was the one that raises the fellowship score, and yours is meet with patron. And then after you're done, all the three of you guys get to pick a fourth one, which the group can do as a whole, and you can pick from three different options. You can pick from the warden option, the champion option, and the what other role does somebody have? It was, you have a champion, you have a warden, and a captain. Somebody's a captain, right? I think Hallis picked the captain. So take it away.
Yeah, Hallis is captain. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we see Targon. Is there actually a palace here, or I'm sure the prince has somewhere suitable to stay?
Yeah, it's like there's a white tower, pretty near the docks, probably a couple hundred yards up one of the hills. Towards the bottom of it, there is a hedgerow that's green, and there's some sort of red berry that has just blossomed on it. And the tower itself, with kind of cascading levels reaching to the sky, probably 7 or 8 stories tall.
Targon is it's evening. Targon's approaching the tower. He's cleaned and polished his armor, and he's wearing his best clothes. And he bears no sword, but he is wearing a breastplate, emblazoned with the arms of his house. And he reaches the tower and kind of looks up, and his brow, so perpetually furrowed these days, kind of looks a little bit. He relaxes a little bit. He looks a little bit more peaceful for a moment as he looks up at the tower and sees something so clearly Numenorian, and kind of rests his hand for a moment on the stone near the doorway, catches his breath, and then straightens up and walks towards the doorway. And when the guards challenge him, he says, I'm Targon of House Nimrazir. I have an audience with His Highness.
Oh, House Nimrazir, you say? Oh, well then, why didn't you say so? The prince is in his chambers, poring over charts and maps. Is it true? The company is again to set sail within the week?
So I hear.
Well then, best of luck. You can see from the grey in my beard that the best of my adventuring days are beyond me. Oh, how I wish I could join you one more time, to be out on the sea, the waves rolling, tossing the ship to and fro, the storms, the lack of food, the cold, the lack of fresh water. And then again, perhaps a lad of my age doesn't belong on the open ocean. Go on in, Targon of House Nimrazir. Aldarion will surely welcome you.
Thank you. And Targon gives him a half smile. He's a little bit too tense to give a full smile. And he enters and starts his way up the stairs towards where he presumes the prince will be waiting.
It's night outside, and as you ascend the steps to Aldarion's chambers, you can see that his bedroom is circumscribed by just open windows, and you can see, looking out, the stars hanging in the night sky, brilliant jewels against a backdrop of inky blackness. Aldarion himself is bent over a large table, a desk, that is illumined by two large flickering candles casting orange light over the room. He probably heard you ascend the steps, and so greets you without yet turning around. Ah, Lord Targon of House Nimrazir. It's been a long winter, but spring is nearly here. I don't think I have seen your face nearly enough. We have much to discuss. Unless you have certain other favors you would ask of me.
No, my lord. I wished merely to take counsel with you.
Counsel. Always more and more counsels. And I suspect that is the business of being a prince, and one day king of Numenor itself. Although that coronation day may be far in my future, my sire is still valiant yet, and hale of heart. So, we set sail in 1 week, Targon.
That we do, Your Highness. I wondered if you've had time to consider the account I gave you of our journey and the evil we encountered, and what it means for, as I believe, how poisoned these lands must be.
I have thought long and hard on your recounting, Targon, and that of your brothers. and your shipmate Hallis. It was a dastardly situation you were put in. Unfortunately, lo these many years I have been visiting Middle-earth, it is not terribly uncommon. What some men want, no doubt others men want as well. The only thing that gives me pause is you are so convinced that there is evil afoot, something special about these raiders that is different from the run-of-the-mill cutthroat and cutpurse. But I have yet to see proof.
Aye, my lord, and for that I must bear the guilt. My rage and indignation at their actions led me to slay their leader, whereas I fear a more prudent man might have listened to what the man had to say, where he came from, who his master was. All I can hope is that my brother had some success in identifying the trinket we took from their spoils. Perhaps that would give a clue.
Indeed. I would like to hear from him. Word is that he's moping around with a face longer than yours currently is.
Oh, I doubt that, my prince. And Targan actually manages a hint of a genuine smile. Says, I did not wish to grow soft over the winter, my prince, so I spent some time with the guard. I particularly asked to help where there was any trouble involving men of Middle-earth who we have welcomed into this town. And I regret I have seen plenty of it. I have difficulty thinking well of them. I am sure that there are some better and some worse. In fact, that there is no doubt. But there is a taint on this land. Sometimes at night I stand on the walls and look off into the east, and I could swear I hear fell voices on the wind. My imagination, no doubt. Perhaps there is something to it.
You are so very far from home, Targon. It is something I have become used to. I leave what is most valuable to me at home. I leave it behind. I too, looking to the west, sometimes can hear the beautiful voice of my beloved Erendis upon the waves. When we are far from home, Targon, our mind plays tricks on us. Do not let your heart be darkened by gazing to the east. Middle-earth has always lain under some small measure of a shadow. Read your lore, Targon. Read of the age before this one, of the lords of the west, and my forefathers. There are tales told that sometimes I cannot quite get my head around, whether they be myth, legend, or, in fact, history. Who's to say? But I do say this, Targon, these men, these natives of this Middle-earth, they do not hail from Westernesse. Treat them kindly. We come here as teachers, not conquerors, as helpers, not exploiters. And thus I would like to give you command of a ship. Kind of looks to you to kind of gauge your interest.
Targon perks up. This is advancement. He hadn't thought about this for so long, but now it's being offered. He really sort of perks up. He was about to sort of carry on down this same path, which would no doubt start convincing the prince he's obsessed. But instead, he sort of perks up and kind of, draws himself upright and says, "I would be honoured, my prince. Who could wish for more?"
No one from House Nimilzir, that's for sure. You are surprised? We are far from Numenor. The past deeds of your house holds no sway here. Many of our ships were destroyed in the storm on the way over the sundering seas, and you and your brother have shown promise, not to mention that friend of yours, Hallis, as long as he can keep his nose out of a brandy barrel.
They are good men both.
He kind of ushers you over and kind of pulls out the charts and starts to look at the table. I'm going to bring you guys on over to the map, the big map. Can you see it, Zypher? Hopefully now.
Yeah, I see it now. I'm playing
Okay.
on Chrome.
Okay, good. All right, so he kind of points to Londaire. That's the other term for Vinyalonde. Here we are, Londaire, at the mouth of the Guaflo. I'll give you a command of a ship not unlike mine own. I plan to sail along the coast, stopping at the mouth of many rivers to both resupply and to explore. From time to time, I'm sure we will send a small river-going vessel up the river, and then on our return journey, we can stop and get reports. I feel in this way we can explore most of the territory that we can. What say you?
My prince, I would be honored. I have become distracted of late from our true purpose. We did come here to explore, to learn, to share our knowledge and our blessings with these lesser men.
Well, if it is distraction that you require, it is distraction I will provide. Being a captain of a ship, Lord Targon, is no small feat. There'll be little time to sulk about and think of home. In fact, there'll be more than ample opportunity to bring glory to your house, and that to your brother as well.
I could ask no more, my prince.
When you return to Numenor, it will be as a brave explorer. Past deeds of your house will be forgotten. At least that is my hope, as it is yours.
I will do everything I can to fulfill your faith in me, my prince. I will discharge my duties faithfully as a true man of Westernesse.
Well, now then. The night is growing long. If your friend Hallis can enjoy himself, why can't we do very much the same? And he kind of opens a drawer underneath the desk and produces a cask of brandy. I dare say our view from up here is much superior than the view from the tavern down below. Join me for a drink, will you? We sail in 1 week.
I would be honored. And Targon looks not just happy, but more at ease and more at peace than he has done in a long time. It's kind of a reminder of their family's main purpose. The reason that he and his brother came to Middle-earth has kind of, at least for now, kind of reset his thoughts a little bit.
Right, and I'll let you guys kind of describe what happens in the remaining week, and then we'll set sail. Now, you do get to pick your kind of group fellowship undertaking, and since Sim already did strength and fellowship, you cannot pick that one. So your two free options are write a song, or what's the one for Warden? Gather rumors. And writing a song, that lets you basically put a song in a songbook, and if you sing the song, it can give you bonuses during a council, or during combat, or during a journey. And gather rumors is gather rumors. Get some kind of rumors of things going on in far off lands or in Vinyalonde itself.
I think I'd be in favor of gather rumors. How the other two feel?
I can never tell if Zypher's talking or not. 'Cause it's always
Oh
muted.
shit! Yeah, shit. I said yeah. Let's do gather rumors.
Yep, sounds good.
Okay. Okay. So, in the tavern, you guys hang out there for a week, and Hollis in particular has his ear to the wind as far as rumors go. Targon's actually the warden, though, isn't he? So yeah, so you are Targon. So you are, you're familiarizing yourself with the crew of your new ship, your vessel.
Targon's the
And
champion.
what's that?
Targon's the champion. I think isn't.
If it has to be a warden, then it'll be Hallis. So not Hallis, Baronor. Baronor is the warden.
Baronor, then. Okay, very good.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give you a bit of information that. Okay. So there are rumors that of a hard winter south of you, which is like strangely odd. It should get warmer as you get further south, and lack of food and pestilence and disease and that sort of thing. That's the rumor you get, and I'll let you kind of narratively figure out how you came across that little bit of information.
Yeah. So, Baronor one evening, just wants to make sure that that old lady you helped him with the medallion, she and her grandchild are fine. So he makes his way back into that side of town, and he comes upon the hovel, and kind of goes back to the old lady, and he asks her, I must know more. You said something about a vision. We are planning to journey south of here. Did you say something about those lands? Do you know anything about those lands?
She kind of says, "Oh, it is no doubt simply old age and an empty belly. But yes, in addition to that wolf that stalks the land, salivating over the riches of Westernesse, over the hearts and minds of men, I have got the impression that the land south of here is going through oh so many hard times. Coldness, uncanny coldness, a hard winter, lack of food, as I said, pestilence, disease. But I am an old woman, with an empty belly, and I suppose it can also color my dreams. But beware, you may find this journey at the heels of Prince Aldarion more than you bargained for."
Very well, thank you. And with that, Baranor bows and makes his way out of the hovel back towards the side of town that Pidi and his brother and Hallis frequent. And he kind of walks through the town, and eventually he finds one of the taverns that he knows Hallis would be at, and finally he sees him. Says, "Hallis,
Baronor.
did my brother tell you that we shall be going south along the coast in Aldarion's company?"
Did he?
Sure, it's common knowledge.
Gotcha. Yes. That's what I heard, and it's the talk of the tavern.
Well, I've heard some news about that place. It has not done well this past winter. Many have died, and there is much misery there and much disease.
Oh,
Make sure that we carry as much medicine with us and clean water.
yes, surely. That is a dark spot there. We want to definitely have that water, all sorts of herbs to keep the men healthy.
And Alice. And when he says this, Alice, you will see that Baranor's face kind of darken. Before you let the others know, make sure our ship is first well stocked. We now have a ship of our own, which means we now have a crew of our own. And as captains, we must do all we can to ensure they survive, which means we survive.
Ah, yes. That'll make our ship a priority. But I don't know if it's right to be hoarding when everybody else is going to suffer the same fate.
Yes, but we can only hoard so much, so make sure we are first well stocked before advising others and helping them stock.
Well, then I shall get to it on the morrow.
Come, let us see if we can find Targon. We must take counsel with him as well.
Yes. I have not seen him of late. Not since earlier. Your guess is as good as mine where he might be at the moment.
Let us look for the most clean establishment that is there for drinking in this town and start from there and work our way to the dirtiest.
Typical night for you two.
Yeah, exactly. And then with that, if Alice agrees, they basically start a epic pub crawl, drinking brandy throughout town. And maybe by the 7th or 8th tavern, we finally find Targon sitting in the corner and deep in his thoughts.
Yeah, actually, Targon isn't alone when you first come in. He's actually talking to someone, and as you enter, Targon nods and the man leaves. And as you enter, you see he's looking more cheerful and more like his old self than you've seen since you came to Middle Earth. And as you enter and he sees you, he stands up and says, "Ah, Baranor, alas! Come and join me. In keep, drinks for my friends. Come, brother, sit with me, I have great news."
And Baranor kind of comes swooping into the room, and generally Baranor is swift, right, and is steady and true. But Targon, you can clearly see that he's had quite a few, and the last few steps leading to the chair that you're pointing him to, he almost stumbles in, rights himself, and then sits down gracefully. But he knows that, yeah, exactly.
I've been trying to reach you two for days. Did you get my messages about the Prince's news, my new appointment?
Yes, indeed we did. And we are most honored to be in your presence, Captain Targon.
And Targon laughs and claps him on the back and says, "As a captain, I need to choose my crew. I have seen the ship, and she is a fair craft. But I need people I can trust by my side. I was thinking, Hallis, that I could do with a first mate, someone who knows the sea, someone who could command the seamen and, make sure that all is shipshape. Would you take it on?
Say no more. It'd be an honor.
Thank you, my friend. And you, Baranor, you may choose your position. What would suit you best? Master at Arms?
Baranor is kind of thinking to himself, and yes, why not? Master at Arms.
Excellent. Why, the three of us with our own ship. Who'd have dreamed such a thing?
Yes. See, Targon, we have come to the right place. Middle Earth has provided us. We now have a way to make our name again.
And we do. Exploration lies ahead of us. We are to bring back knowledge. And now that we are armed with greater knowledge ourselves as to what evil waits out there, we will not be taken so easily unawares next time. Our own ship, brother. The prince spoke of cleansing the name of House Nimrazir. Who'd have thought such a thing? Before we came here, the mark on our name seemed so indelible. And now, with a successful voyage and the prince's blessing, our house's fortune could be restored. Who will raise a glass with me?
Alice would definitely raise his glass up.
Baranor also would do the same.
Here's to a safe voyage. Here's to a safe voyage and the fortunes of House Nimrazir and her friends. And he nods to Alice, raises his glass.
Alice puts his glass up high. Salute to good fortune and great journey and adventure.
And Baranor looks to both of them. And cheers! Cheers to the merry times to be had ahead.
Aye. And then Targon puts his drink down and says, well, I fear that a winter spent brooding has perhaps softened me, boys. How about we drink the night away? Try to get my hand back in, as it were. He smiles. You know he was never as much of a drinker as you guys, but you know he's obviously trying to make an effort.
And Baranor looks to Alice as if like did you hear what he just said? Did I hear what he just said?
I did, and you did. Seems like your brother is going to have a fun night tonight.
Then why don't we just skip all the way down to the taverns to the dirtiest part of town and have ourselves a great night?
I'm sure that'll happen in due time. As the crowd will move, we will follow.
Gentlemen, my evening is free, and I am entirely in your hands. And Targon smiles.
Hollis, knowing that his Baranor's brother Targon's was a teetotaler, is actually not going to drink as much, so he can keep an eye on him.
Yeah, that's basically, Baranor's going to like, barkeep, another round, and they send more brandy over. And then, as the crowd keeps moving and down the taverns, we also move along in song and drink.
Targon learns quite a few new songs that night.
Quite a few limericks. So you party the night away. You are out from the center of the new city. You are in amongst the local folk. And Targon, whether your distaste for the common rabble of Enidwaith makes itself known or not, you mingle. You roll in the mud with the pigs, and the next morning the three of you wake with a massive hangover. But there's only a few days to go before you set sail, and so you cinch up your belts, you drink some water, and get a cup of coffee or whatever similar stimulant there is in Middle Earth, and you give your ship a few extra supplies, eh?
Yep.
Extra fresh water, extra supplies. No doubt, if you have any to spare, you'll give to the other ships. But your particular ship, Targon's vessel, which probably needs a name. What's the name of your vessel?
Good question. I don't know what they'd call them.
Let me change the scene and the music, and
we'll
it'll inspire you.
Call her the Western Star.
The Western Star. Where I grew up, that was the name of the local newspaper. Flash. Rough ocean. Ocean swell. And so, indeed, Captain Targon of House Nimrazir, along with his brother and first mate Hallis, set sail from Vinyalonde on one clear spring day. Soon, the shore is but a speck on the horizon, and then it is gone. You don't go too far out to sea. You don't want to make it all the way back to Westernesse, but you travel south along the coast. To your left and right, Targon, Hallis, and Baranor. As you look, you see other ships of Aldarion spotting the ocean, being cast to and fro along the waves. But since the men of Numenor are expert seamen, they navigate their way without fail, expertly so, jibbing and jabbing with the wind. I'll let you kind of role play, setting off, and then we'll do our journey. And I don't think you're no longer miserable, Targon, are you? I can remove that from your sheet if you want.
I recovered hope. So
I turned off miserable. You're not miserable anymore.
All
right, take it away.
Also, before we proceed, what do we do with the shadow? We got 3 shadow, I think.
I think I've got 5.
Yep, shadow stays.
No, but in the fellowship phase, you can do something to remove shadow, right?
In the old one,
story.
That can remove shadow scars. Let me see here. I have a little cheat sheet here.
I think because it's Yule.
Spiritual recovery. Oh, yes. Yeah. Okay, yes. I remove 0 to 3 shadow points depending on outcome of the adventure phase. You guys get to remove 1.
Okay.
You didn't strike any great blow against the shadow, but you took care of those raiders.
We grazed it.
So 1. You get to remove 1. Good call. Good call there. And you guys did recover hope according to your heart score, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think we're done. Congratulations. It's on your first fellowship phase.
Never forget you first.
Cypher has done many fellowship phases. Alright, you're out in the ocean. Take it away.
Targon's never really been a mariner, but everyone in Numenor knows something of the sea, and he's been studying quite a lot since he got the role, and spending some time talking to Hallis about what a captain's role is. So he knows one of his big jobs is just to keep the hell out of Hallis's way and let Hallis actually run the actual practicalities of the ship. It's his job to keep an eye on the crew, their morale, make any decisions about headings, etc., and mainly just keep an eye on everything and make sure it's running smoothly. So that's kind of what he's doing. He's trying to be more of a people person than usual. It doesn't come easily to him, but he's making an effort to try and get to know the crew, and although he's not a warm person, he's at least sincere. So he's trying to kind of make a good impression with the crew on that basis.
All right, who's our guide? Who's best at travel?
What have we got here?
I think I am. Am I?
Yeah, my travel is 2, but not favored.
Yeah, mine's not favored either, but it's also 2.
Same here.
I would suggest too that you do a lore check there, Baranor, especially with your bonuses, since you get +2 success die.
Oh yeah.
And you'll be able to give whoever rolls that travel a bonus.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I can roll the lore check. 2 success die. Automatic success.
Automatic success. Did you roll a Dolph? You did.
Yeah, Dolph.
You rolled a Dolph. All right, so you're going to get a +2. Whoever does the travel gets a +2 success die.
Who has next highest travel, Hallis, or both of you have the same?
Both are the same, so I think
Go ahead, Captain.
I'll give it a go.
Okay, go ahead, Captain.
I've got to step up.
Just give your 2.
Got to step
Yeah,
up.
2 extra success die.
Okay. And how do I add that?
Just put bonus and go towards the right and click the second one.
Okay. Bonus.
Bonus penalty dice.
Got it. Got it. Thank you. And then roll.
That can't be it. That's really all you needed.
That's weird. Where
you
did
did
it roll
it.
that?
I'm gonna roll it for you and see what happens here.
Yeah, I roll.
We'll keep that. Not travel. So travel. 2.
I did the.
Roll.
Oh no! I know what it was. It counts as 2 penalty dice. I clicked on the wrong side of the 0. My bad.
User error. Well, you still got a Dolph. If you can
Yeah.
see, Dolph decreased by 1. So your journey takes only 2/3 total, as long as it would have. So I'll let you guys kind of role play that, because that's a little useful bit about how one brother studied the nautical charts and lore, and the other one plotted a course. I'll let you guys take that away.
Do you want to start X and I'll pick it up?
Yeah, so Baranor's been like poring over the maps, and he's been looking along the coastline with with those farseers, and he remembers what the old lady told him, so he's kind of looking for telltale signs and of the land, and then based on that he's seeing like what the sea is doing and what the winds are doing, and he starts like giving nudges and indications to Targon to kind of move tack a little to the left or to the right, or starboard or port side, not left or right, and just to get that wind just right, and that way the sails are always full and they just remain full for like long periods of time.
Nice. Yeah, and talking to listening to that from Baranor and what he's heard from Hallis on how you how you need to make the most of ocean currents and everything, Targon sets a course that seems indirect, but actually is just way, way faster once you take into account the actual conditions.
All right, so I rolled the first event. It's only because those are only 2 of them now. The first event is the scout. Whoever takes the scout roll, that would be whoever's probably best at explore. We'll take that one.
I'm already doing another roll. So.
I have 2 in explore, but it's not favored.
Same here.
Yeah, same here. So anyone can.
So go for it, Alice.
Yeah, you're the first mate. So, and the event is mishap. So, why don't you... and the weather. Weather is good weather. Not perfect weather, but good sailing weather. No adverse events as far as the weather goes. So why don't you roll explore. Success.
Amazing.
Yep, so everybody gets 2 travel fatigue automatically. Just the fatigue points gains from the travel. And Hallis, tell me about how you prevented something from going wrong as the first mate of the ship.
Yeah, Hollis standing at the bow, keeping the eyes out, notices that there's a bunch of adrift lumber, trees, felled trees from some event, and immediately shouts up, hold fast! We have obstacles! And he kind of peers over and sees that there's a great number of them, but the path, it's easy to go around them. If we go hard port side, we could go around them. But go slow. I must have to keep an eye out.
One of the ship's mates kind of calls back to you. What is that? What is that you say, Alice? I can barely hear you over the waves. I see lots of flotsam in the water.
Hard the port.
Oh, mine eyes, wretched eyes, deceived me. The eyes of Westernesse are in thine head. You steer us true. To port, boys, to port. And the boat kind of lists to port. And somebody from the crow's nest kind of calls across the water to all the other ships, and they kind of relay the message paying telephone. To port, lads, to port! To port, my good man, to port! You guys kind of list to port, and you see, for some reason, like, there is all this crap in the water. It's just insane. Like, I don't know why that happened. Maybe there was a storm or something, I guess you would figure. But you're able to briefly anchor on the first leg of your journey, kind of outside this river at the mouth of the River Angrid. You send a few dinghies in for resupplies and whatnot, and indeed, a few of the dinghies kind of come back with a few sacks of grains and barrels of water. But the report is that, my lord, Captain Targon, there's not much to be had inland. Word is that the small folk report a bad winter.
We'd heard rumors of such. It's an odd thing so far south. I will note it in my journal, and we shall carry on.
Your
Do
captain's
not worry.
log?
We have yes. we have stores of plenty, though, lads. Do not fear.
Yeah, the ship's mate kind of comes back aboard, and he's like, "You are wise beyond your years, Targon. My temples may be going grey, but you foresaw this, as if you knew somehow that the land would be barren of food and water this time of year. It is the spring! The bounty should be bursting forth, especially along the fertile plains along the river Angren.
I heard, well, my companions heard, tale of dark times. But in dark times, bravery shines all the brighter, does it not? And claps him on the back.
Indeed it does. Ah, when I return home, forever will I speak of the wisdom of House Nimrazir and Captain Targon.
There's a man that wants a promotion. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So. Yeah.
Baronord's like, I'm the one that went and talked to the old lady. She smelled.
Yeah. He suffered for this information. Yeah. No. Yeah. Obviously, Targon will actually make it clear, who's the brains of the outfit. But yeah, we'll make sure to keep the morale up among the men. A little bit of mystique doesn't hurt, right? So we won't explain everything.
Weather's still good. Here's the target. D. Yes. 4, which is the lookout. Lookout.
You want to
Let's
take
just
that one next?
yeah. Baranor? Your awareness is 2 and favored. I would probably take that one.
Yeah. But no, I'll do that. I just couldn't find the token. There.
Oh. Oh! This could be potentially terrible misfortune. Everybody gets 3 fatigue points no matter what. So everybody 3 travel fatigue. And if the roll fails, the target is wounded.
Oh, okay. So
And it's going to be an awareness. Yep.
Awareness.
You have hopes.
Yeah, I'm going to use 1 hope.
Ah, good. Very good. So maybe something happens. You almost got injured badly, and you avoided it somehow. So, what happened?
Yeah, so I think it would be the same time where Baranor is below decks, and he doesn't hear the shout for port, and he was actually moving some heavy bags of grain and some barrels of drink, and given that he wasn't prepared for the ship to list to port that quickly and that violently, he ends up dropping the grain on him, and then him getting pinned on a few barrels, almost breaking his back.
And you only have to do 2 events, right? Because of your rolls earlier, instead of 3. So a few weeks go past, and you're sailing along the coast rather swiftly. There have almost been 2 disasters, but Targon, your leadership has been unparalleled so far, and even yeah, as you are moored near this river mouth here, near Ross and Morthil, even at night, Prince Aldarion kind of comes over to your guys' ship to give you props, and we'll just roleplay this just for fun. Where is it? Aldarion. Too small. 5. Let's make him even bigger. 7 size. Good. So he kind of comes over towards your ship one night, and the 3 of you are on deck. Aldarion's men have brought over, the extra food and water and maybe even a little bit of wine that you've stored up. And even though you haven't been able to resupply like you were planning to, the fact that Baranor suggested you guys bring more than you typically would, and the fact that your journey has been swift, Lord Aldarion, Prince Aldarion, wanted to thank you very much for this. And so all 4 of you guys kind of sit above deck and you look out at the stars. You can see the waves kind of crashing upon the shore as your ship is moored, but it's a peaceful, clear night and the stars are just glittering overhead. Aldarion says to you, Targon, "What did I say? House Nimruzir. House too ill spoken of at home on Numenor. I dare say, Targon, when we return, it will be a name spoken in happy times, with reverence and honor of great deeds, and by the brothers, the great seafarers, Targon and Baranor, and the first mate Hallis, He raises his chalice.
He raises his chalice to Hallis. And Targon will smile at him and then turn and smile at his brother and at Hallis and will say, "That is my fondest wish and has always been my wish and my brother's. We wish merely to redeem my house and to serve our country. The credit for this is not mine alone, as you have so keenly perceived. The credit is with my brother and with our good friend Hallis. My brother's ability to discern the truth, hidden or obvious, in this case hidden, and Hallis's knowledge of the sea, a practical and unrivaled knowledge gained through years of experience. Those things have stood as true. I merely needed to listen."
Did we ever decide what your family did? Or is that going to come out in role play? Because this might be a good time to kind of...
That's a good point. No, we never did. Did you have any ideas, X?
Unspeakable acts. Unspeakable.
No. That doesn't happen yet in Numenor. You have to do the human sacrifice part.
That's all in the future. I don't know. Maybe what? Maybe it was they were a little too friendly with the wrong people. How about that? I don't know who the wrong people would be. Maybe, I don't know. Help me out here.
Yeah. I think in the sense that when they previously came to Middle Earth to explore with previous lords from Numenor, maybe on one such expedition, the first people of the House of Nimruzir didn't want to turn back and head back to Numenor, thus leading to maybe a voyage that took longer because one of those ships was actually supplies. So maybe it was because of their greed of wanting to explore more and go in deeper into Middle Earth. That kind of led to that ill name. They did eventually come back to Numenor with lots of riches, but it almost came as they just did whatever was in their best interest and not the entire groups.
Maybe some of the sailors died, on the ship.
Mhm.
Yeah, and the mothers and fathers of those sailors from other noble houses basically probably would have blamed House Nimmer's for that, right?
Yep, yep.
You
Yeah.
stayed there too long, you tarried too long, you delved too deeply and too greedily, and now look what happened. I lost my son at sea.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Put greed ahead of the lives of others.
Mm.
Or so
Yeah, so
the tale goes.
Aldarion says, we all know the tales of your house, but I will just tell the both of you, dear brothers, the sins of the fathers shall not be visited upon you. Your hearts, so I've seen, have been naught but selfless. You see here, yonder, into the darkness, the river Ringlow. Beyond that, the White Mountains. And what lies further still, I do not yet know. Could be gold, could be jewels, could be a wealth of knowledge and lore. But we will travel there, as time dictates, and it may not even be myself. Perhaps an heir of mine, or a son of yours, Baranor, or a grandson of yours, Targon. If you have any sons at all, Hallis, I'll be surprised. He kind of laughs. But as I said, we come as teachers, we come as helpers to this realm, not to pilfer, not to take, but to learn and to share knowledge. Hear, hear! To Westernesse and the lords of the West!
And
Here,
Tag-
here.
Raises
To
chalice,
Westernesse.
raises his chalice to Hallis.
yeah, Targon will definitely raise a glass as well.
Everybody on deck does so.
And the men give them an extra rum ration.
And I'm going to change the scene here. And I'll let you guys role play while I change the scene. How that evening goes as Aldarion goes back on his small dinghy to his own vessel, and I'll let you kind of role play out going out onto the deck of the ship as the sun rises, and you're kind of moored out here near Belfalas, kind of at the mouth of the Ringlow. So I'll let you role play while I change the scene here.
The nights got darker and colder, and we've kind of retired to Argon's cabin. And the read was celebratory earlier on, and then Targon turns to Hallis and says, there is one point in which I must disagree with our prince. That I feel that of all of us, Hallis, you're the most likely to have a child already. And he winks.
Maybe a few. Smile.
Do you think you'll ever settle down?
Yeah. There'll be a point where there's no more adventures to be had. Or one will just... The next adventure will be finding something to do in a boring time.
And Targon nods thoughtfully. And how about you, brother? It seems that perhaps our goal of restoring the family fortunes might be in sight. It's been our North Star for so long. I wonder what will replace it.
I do not know what will replace it, but I am happy to know that we are on the right path now. For a moment there, I was worried, but I can see for what we have gone through as brothers and as friends on this journey till so far, it has always worked out in our favor. So I do not see why it should not continue to do so. Great adventure awaits us, brother. I look forward to it.
And I too. We have not redeemed our house yet. We have had some good fortune thus far, but we must not count our gold before we've earned it. He nods to them and says, but I do wish for both of you to know that I value your company and your good counsel.
I am glad to be by your side, brother.
And Targon nods and smiles.
And that evening passes without event as you sleep with an extra ration of rum and perhaps a little bit of fine wine in your belly. You know, that conversation with Prince Aldarion was certainly enheartening to Baranor and Targon. To hear someone speak of your family in such glowing terms and to be forgiven for the transgressions of your ancestors probably is like starting afresh. And whether you dream of fortune and glory upon returning or whatnot, it's certainly a step in the right direction. The next morning, the sun rises in the east and casts glittering rays across the bay near the mouth of the Ringlow. Let me roll for weather here. A storm. That is when, let me see here. I think in this, I think I might even be able to do an effect. Weather effect, rain. Let's see what happens. Ha-ha!
Nice.
Drive up the size of the file. Sea storm. Doesn't look too bad out, but just pretend that it's getting dark. So that morning, Hollis, Baranor, and Targon, you kind of go up above decks, and oddly, kind of out of the south, you see dark thunder clouds, like fingers reaching along the coast, spreading from the south to north. And you see white caps start to form in the bay, and then crack, a peal of thunder, and it starts to rain quite a bit. In fact, Baranor, your neck feels quite heavy as this pendant that you either have on, or perhaps it's in your pocket. It just seems to be tickling the back of your mind, no matter where it is. It never quite leaves your consciousness, as it were. I'll let you kind of roleplay that before we get on to our next phase.
And, Baranor, as he's hearing the thunder and lightning, every time he sees the lightning and he almost feels like he hears the thunder immediately before he actually hears it. And in some cases, he feels, he kind of senses where the lightning's going to strike across the sky just before it strikes across the sky. And he's not quite sure whether he's seeing things as they're happening or they should happen or they will happen. And kind of shakes his head, trying to clear his thoughts and mind, and steadies himself on the railings of the ship. The storm is ill, brothers, ill.
It seems it's going to be to hit us hard.
And Targon looks up at the storm and looks back to his brother and say, "Why say you that, brother? It seems like a storm like any other."
That it may seem, but it seems also purposeful. There was no signs foretelling this. Sea storms like this just don't up and come from nowhere. This almost feels like, I don't know, just ill.
Malice? Some unseen force? You're sounding like me now, brother. And Targon smiles, but he does look a little worried.
I don't know, I cannot say. Those words, they do have some meaning when I think about it and what I see around me, but it's just very hazy.
And Targon turns to Hallis and says, "I think perhaps caution would serve us best. Better to treat the storm with too much respect than not enough. What say you?"
That sounds like a wonderful idea.
So Targon's gonna get the ship sort of further into the bay, and try and stay fairly near the shore. Try and not right next to the shore, but like further in, so the waves are smaller. And try and get us out of the worst of the wind behind a headland.
And you feel the ship lurch forward as you command your men to lift anchor, and it starts to inch forward. I want all three of you to give me either a scan or awareness check. Great success. Failure. And that's when both Hallis and Baranor see it. Suddenly you realize that you're surrounded by that kind of debris, that flotsam that you noticed during the first leg of your journey. And then just at first you think it might just be a large wave, but it's like the ocean itself is just breaking, and you look down and you see an enormous thing careening towards your ship, breaking water, what looks like almost like a dragon's back, crests out of the water, and tentacles splash out of the water, and one of them wraps itself around the man that's standing right next to you, Baranor, and he just screams out in pain, and it squeezes him and just pulls him to the water, drowning him, taking him into the depths, and suddenly your entire ship just lurches to starboard. I would like each of you to make me an athletic checks to see if you maintain your balance as this thing just around your ship just explodes from the water. Everybody is screaming. All right. Athletics, failure, success. Okay. Hallis and Baranor, you keep your feet. Targon, you failed the scan anyway. You take 1d6 endurance. So you lose 2 endurance and are thrown down to the deck of the ship as this thing just explodes around you. At once, it takes one of the masts and cracks it in half, kind of throwing it across the ocean. The other ships start to scatter away from you. I don't know why. They all start to scatter away from you, oddly, but your ship is being attacked by these things. I'll let you kind of role play what's going on here, and then we'll get started.
Targon was, failed to see this until it was right upon us, and then his attention was taken by the man that was dragged off, so he doesn't brace himself in time and is kind of knocked to his feet, and smacks his head into a barrel that's kind of stowed on deck, and he gets up with his ears ringing and sees what's happening, and yells and starts yelling orders to the men to get arms, and then yells at them to listen to Baranor and listen to Hallis, because they'll instruct the defense and the conduct of the ship respectively.
Baranor.
And Baranor, he feels the ship jolt, and just as it jolts, he kind of does a quick hop and a skip, and kind of lands again once the ship rights itself. So doesn't ever feel any of the shockwave from the jolt. And then as he kind of spins around and he sees these tentacles pop out of the water, he screams, "At arms, men! At arms! Repel borders at all costs. Do not let it attach itself to the ship."
All around you, like these tentacles kind of whip into the air, and this one's next to you, Hollis. It takes one of the men, like flings him 200 feet in the air. He goes, "Ah!" You just see him like splash in the ocean, hundreds of yards away, and we'll start combat as this thing starts to tear your brand new ship apart, the Western Star.
Darn it.
Albert.
All right, so let me see if I can remember how to do this. I think I'm gonna do that, and then maybe plus.
I knew I should have paid for the extended warranty.
Opening volley. There's no opening volley, obviously. So there we go. No opening volley, so I'm gonna skip that, and we'll hit begin combat. Round one. You guys are obviously all matched up against tentacles. Destroy these tentacles. Scare the sea monster off before it rips your ship apart. What stances you guys want? You cannot take rearward. Yep. Is that a forward stance I spy?
I think I'm. Yeah.
Forward, Targon?
Actually, no. Targon was going to do that, and then he remembers he's the captain now, so he's just going to be a bit more measured.
Hallis going balls to the wall?
Yeah, there's only one person who ever goes balls to the wall, and that's Hallis.
Hollis is engaging that tentacle that threw his men up in the 200 feet in the air.
Hang on a second here. Okay. Alright, you're up first, Hallis. What are you going to do?
Yeah, Hollis is going to engage the nearest tentacle, trying to get it off the ship. He's going to try to hack it off.
Okay, he will spend one of his hate points to use snake-like speed as you go to this thing. It's whipping around. It's really hard to get at, so your attack is going to be ill-favored against it. And just make it this one. Do you remember how to attack and stuff?
I don't remember how do I lock on to him here?
T.
That's it. All right.
Ill-favored. Ill-favored. A success?
Yes.
Why did you only roll 1 feat die?
That I couldn't tell you.
Why don't you roll me another one for me? Just /R1DF.
I mean, it should be only one. Let's see, right?
You also is your sword skill 4?
No, it's 3, and I got a hope dice.
You used a hope.
Yeah. So I'm gonna roll without the hope though, so that I don't have to fix it. I still only rolled 1.
So that would be a 6.
It still beats 12. Right,
Yep,
6.
still beats 12. Yep.
Wait.
So 5 damage. Yep.
Yes. And whatever 20 injury is, I don't know what that is. What's a? I didn't get a 9 anyways, right?
No, yeah, you didn't do enough to hit your injury or whatever.
Yeah.
So I can do apply damages, and it should apply it to this guy. Yep, endurance 5. So that kills that one. What's that look like as you lop off that tentacle there?
So yeah, Hollis, watching the tentacle throw a man 200 feet in the air, immediately goes into action. Having survived the bump, not falling down, bracing himself because he's seen it. Immediately, his second nature, his sword, is drawn, and he just brings it down without thinking about it, right on the tentacle. Watching it lob off and squirm on the deck, and the other half go back into the sea. He'll turn and look around.
Whoa! There you go.
The beast is no god. It bleeds. Hurt it with all your might.
All right, Baranor, you're up next.
Yeah, Bernard is going to do the same, attack with swords onto this tentacle in front of him.
And he also will use the thing of hate to make it ill-favored.
Okay. Ill-favored. So
Let's
worst,
see if
right?
see if it rolls.
Move from best to worst.
Yes.
Okay.
That only rolled one of them too, didn't it?
Are we messing up? Is it only supposed to roll 1?
No, it's supposed to roll 2 of them. It doesn't matter because you got an eye. Oh, you know what? I does not mean automatic failure in this version.
Oh wow. Okay.
It does not. So you still hit them. I'm gonna roll. I'm gonna roll 2 just to see. So T. I'm just gonna try something here.
You know what? I bet you we have to click the actual feat dice. Because where it says you know how you're favored, and it's automatically clicked when it's worse. You have to click it.
I see. Okay, let me do that.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
let's
that's
see
it.
that should take the lowest one,
That does.
which ties. Yeah, so that's a bad example.
Success. Oh, you did 5 damage. That kills it. That kills it anyway.
That was me. Don't listen to him.
Yeah. That's not. Wait.
Yo, but you hit yours too, didn't it?
Oh yeah, he is. He definitely did hit his.
Yeah, he would have sliced his tentacle up.
His lowest speed and eye.
Well, he still hit it because they're it's not that hard to hit.
Yep. Cool.
All right, Targon, you're up.
Okay. Targon pulls himself to his feet, and after yelling instructions, he grabs his sword, and with a slight feeling of guilt that perhaps this isn't what he should be doing as captain, he still rushes in to engage the last tentacle. So let me try and get this right.
Tentacle thorn.
Oh, now it just feels wrong. Okay. So hopefully, no. What's he doing? I thought I clicked on the sword. I'm not right. Oh, I clicked on the sword skill. That's what it is. Okay. And as usual,
You can make macros down your macro bars for your weapons. Just drag him
Oh,
over.
I actually had. Oh, darn it. Okay, I'm going to use a hope point.
A great success.
The...
Oh, you rolled swords though. You didn't roll the actual weapon, so it didn't give you your damage and stuff.
Okay, I tried to roll the actual weapon before, but okay, let's try this. There. No, I click sword. It's not doing it for some reason.
Are you clicking your longsword?
Yeah, I'm trying to click sword. I've got it on the macro bar already, and it's not doing anything. I tried to click the sword icon on the character sheet before, and it wasn't doing it.
Try it here.
Are you getting a message at the top? Do you have them targeted?
Yeah, I do. I can see I've got the arrows indicating that tentacles targeted.
I'm gonna try to roll it just to see.
I'm sure I'm doing something wrong, but I can't work out what it is.
Sword. It doesn't even do anything at all when you click on it.
Yeah, it did before. What's happened?
Did you lose connection at all? Then you might have to reload.
Yeah,
because that's what was happening when we were losing connection the last game.
Okay, I didn't see myself lose connection, but I could have done. Yeah, okay. It's 4 damage though, I think normally. I'll just reload.
It's going to be more because you got great success, so you're going to be able to add extra damage to it.
Okay.
I just want to know why you can't do it. Everybody else, it works fine.
Yeah, it's weird. Let's say I lost connection, but that would kind of explain it.
I'm going to roll yours, House, just for shits and giggles and see. None of them work for me.
Don't work?
If I click on anybody's weapon, it won't let me attack them.
It's not working for me now either.
I wonder if there's something about the tentacle. This particular tentacle is different or something, I don't know.
I think I just reloaded, so let's see. Yeah, what's going on with it, Bo?
I don't know. It kills it, though. Doesn't matter. It's enough to kill it. That's all I know.
Nice. Yeah, so Targon will rush. He rushes forward, hacks at this thing, and following the example of Hallis and Baranor, he manages to lop off this tentacle and then immediately cleans and sheathes his sword whilst yelling instructions to the men, and I'm sure Hallis will join in and give them all sort of practical instructions to get us free of this thing. So while it's kind of pausing and effectively licking its wounds, try and get clear of it.
Yeah, Hollis is we'll pick up the squirming thing and hold it up for everybody to see. Get it off our ship! Any tentacle you see, it has to be hacked, otherwise it pulls us under. I don't feel like swimming all the way back to the shore.
And so as you guys spin across the deck, kind of hacking out these things, you hear this giant roar. This giant beaked mouth kind of raises itself over the ship, and it opens up the mouth, and like it's filled with teeth, and more just tentacled with beaks on them just shoot out at it towards you. You have never seen anything like this before. It's going to use Strike Fear for a hate point. So everybody make a valor roll. Adolf!
Whoop, whoop.
I have confidence as a virtue. Does that help me at all here?
What do you get?
Yeah, give yourself a bonus dice.
Thank you. Where's that?
If I got that off, I don't know if I would have ever had that.
Adolf would not have done it.
Yeah.
Automatic success.
Okay, and give myself a bonus die.
I think it's 6 or higher.
Nope.
Oh, the brothers. Both of you take one shadow point. As you are stricken with fear. And for the rest of the combat, you're unable to use hope.
Okay.
So tell me what that looks like, Baranor and Targon. As your first mate shows you guys up.
Again.
Leroy!
So yeah, Targon is calling out instructions, and as this thing kind of rears over the ship, suddenly he's just having flashbacks to this spirit, and it just seems like every time he feels he can achieve something in this side of the ocean, something evil just appears to kind of mock his hopes, and he just looks at it and thinks, why am I even trying? This place is cursed. It's ahead of me at every step. And he just stares and he just feels hopeless.
Baranor stares into the maw of this creature, and suddenly for a moment fears death and fears being consumed by this creature forever in torment in its belly. And he kind of drops to a knee, shaking, looking up at the creature.
Slowly digested over the course of 1,000 years. Alright, what are you gonna do? You guys are up.
No change for Hollis.
You wanna go after him?
We're going after him.
Yeah, no change.
Yep, me neither.
Yeah, let's go. See if you can target that thing.
Negative. I was just about to say I can't target him. I got it. It's gotta be. You gotta
There you
do it
go.
like right in the middle there.
Yeah, it's right in the middle because I made the token roll big.
Oh yeah. Thanks.
All right, Hollis is that. So this thing's in the water.
Yeah, well, that's just kind of like the tentacles are still there. You just lopped off a bunch, and it's just like its head will come up over one side of the ship, right, and like eat somebody, then dip down, and it'll come back up over the other side of the ship.
All right, so Hollis, after seeing it come up, kind of plans where this thing's coming up at with his beak, and as soon as he sees it, he's gonna run and kind of leap to attack it. Um,
11 damage?
yes, because it was a great success, so I could deal +5 with my.
Oh, that's really good.
So as
Doesn't
he's
have to roll protection, but apply damages. All right, tell me what that looks like. That's about half of it.
Yeah, so as he sees it, he leaps up to kind of stick it, and he sticks it and he slides down with it a little bit, realizing it may dip back underwater. Though he pushes himself back off onto the ship and rights himself as he watches it billow in pain.
Baranor, you're up.
Baranor, seeing Hallis's powerful attack and him being so valiant, gets off his feet and goes after the monster as well. Um,
13. What does it look like?
Yeah, so, watching Hallis strike with such ferocity, Baranor kind of shakes his head, gets off his feet, and almost feels ashamed to have contemplated his death at such a creature. And he screams, "Together we can push it back into the depths from where it came from." And he charges at the face. There are a couple of tentacles in its way, and he, hips and hops while they could almost catch him and fling him off. Eventually, he gets to the head of the creature, and he does a feint, but a very slow feint. The creature rears its head up, so as to miss the blow. But Baranor was waiting for that. So as soon as it rears its head up, he sees a soft, almost like an under chin, and he basically, sticks his sword as far in as it will go, and then basically runs across the deck with it, slicing the under chin, pretty deeply where it's gushing with a lot of black ichor and ooze.
As you do that, you just open up this rent in its flesh. The beak is cloven in two, and in fact, the bottom jaw just clanks onto the deck, and you hear this. There's just awful roar, and it rears up and just falls back into the ocean, leaving this black ichor on the deck for 2 heartbeats. 1001, 1002. It's completely silent, and then just like on this picture, a bunch of more tentacles kind of go up and take the ship and just pull it into the water, splintering it apart. Your whole ship just breaks apart under your feet as a monster just sinks back under the waves but splinters your boat. Everybody roll athletics again. A failure is 1d6 endurance loss.
Oh no, I rolled another eye.
Another Dolph.
I roll the eyes.
Why don't you? Yeah, why don't you do a protection against 14 actually, since you rolled an eye?
How do I roll that? Protection.
So 1d6. So you take 2 endurance loss.
Okay.
And then on your sheet, there's going to be something. You should be wary. Oh, you should be wary. Mark yourself as a wary. I'll do that for you.
Yeah.
So just roll armor. See what it says armor? If you hover over armor, it says protection.
Oh, yeah.
Roll that bad boy.
Where's the protection roll? Okay.
14. Success. So you're not wounded, but what does it look like as you guys all are cast into the water? Both Hallis and Baranor are nimble enough probably to avoid all the splintered wreckage and whatnot, but Target is not.
Yeah, Targon is he's wearing his mail shirt, and he's kind of splitting his attention between looking out for the crew and keeping an eye on this thing. And he was just starting to relax and look to the crew, so he again, he didn't see this coming. He was just starting to turn around and was about to lead a cheer from the crew, and then this just took him completely by surprise. And as the ship splinters, the deck just caves away completely underneath him, and it's not like he even slides. He just drops and hits the deck below really heavily, and that then caves as well. But he's really had the wind just knocked out of him.
Hallis and Baranor.
Hollis, after seeing the monster roar and the death strike happen and the ship starts splintering, quickly realizes that they're going to go down and he's going to find his way into the water as well. Seeing as it starts happening, he's able to maneuver just right to put himself on the ship that's not as explosive in damage and leaps off, throwing himself clear of debris, and then surfaces looking for his friends.
Oh, look, you can make it dark. That's cool.
Baranor, once it realizes, like, in a split second, he realizes that the ship is being torn apart, and he screams, "Everyone abandon ship!" And he's about to jump overboard when, in the corner of his eye, he realizes Targon just kind of disappears into the deck. So Baranor then goes chasing after him and jumps down into that hole. He sees Targon, with his wind knocked out, like kind of struggling to get up off the deck. He skips to his side and lifts him up, and as soon as they both stand, the final deck also gives away, and they find themselves in the water. He grabs hold of Targon's left shoulder, and with powerful strokes underneath, they kind of start swimming away from the debris till they surface with large gulps of air.
As you do that, you kind of look around you guys all under the water, and the water is just boiling. Parts of it are just plumes of red, where the men have fallen into the water, wounded either from the splintering of the wreckage or from the monster itself, and the air is certainly just filled with screams. And you still here and there see a tentacle kind of lash up into the water, although it seems to be the writhing of a creature in pain. As you kind of look down to the depths, the water is just murky. You can't see anything because of the cloud cover overhead. Can all three of you guys give me another valor check?
Do I get that bonus die again, or not?
Bonus die for
confidence.
Oh yeah, sure. That is a trait.
Cool.
Baranor, give yourself a shadow. Targon, give yourself a shadow. The brothers. How thematic is it that these brothers are just seem to be cursed?
Hollis is Redden's choice of companions.
I think Bo switched on narrative dice.
Rain. Let's see if I can turn off the rain. Did the rain turn off? Yep. So, Targon and Hollis, you can tell me like how afraid you are as you look below and just these swirling waters. You know you wounded that beak, Baranor, but you feel at any moment it could just suck you under. Let's you roleplay that as I switch scenes here.
Targon is clinging to part of the wreckage of the ship, and not knowing whether this creature's down there, it just seems so much worse than actually even seeing it, because his imagination's filling it all in, and he keeps being taken back to that other dark water, the dark water of the river, where that evil spirit first kind of crushed his naive optimism. And he looks down and he's sort of thinking, it's just evil's lurking again. And every time he tries to accomplish anything, it's mocking him. And perhaps down there it's lurking, will just pull him down to the depths and drown him. Or perhaps it won't, but it just, either way, he feels completely defeated and hopeless. And because, this depth of water is beneath him, but this thing may be there, he also feels genuinely scared.
Baranor.
The Baranor, he's as soon as he gets up out of the water, takes a huge breath of air, he frantically looks around and he finds a floating piece of wreckage, and he does his best to get his entire body out of the water and onto the wreckage, and it's not big enough, and there's some parts of his body that still touches the water, and he flinches every time, afraid that a tentacle is going to come up shooting at him. And as he's lying there, like bobbing up and down with the water, and screams just lighting up around the cove and the coast over here, he remembers what the old lady said, how journeying further south in the company he's in is just going to bring bad luck and bad tidings. And then he remembers that spirit that his party met by the river the evening they met the elves, and how the spirits had a cursed language and tone. And he just kind of, in a very fetal position, he just stays there shivering.
As you start to shiver, the rain just ceases, and it's as if the clouds overhead are just rolled back by some unseen force, and a light from the west shines out, and you look across the water, and all the boiling underneath the water where the monster was, and even the screaming seems to go away. And as you look towards the main line, you see dozens of small boats, not ocean-going vessels, but kind of rowboats, dinghies, kind of rowing themselves out closer and closer to you as the light gets lighter and lighter. And at first, it's just your eyes can't make out who's on these boats. There's like little specks of folks. They get closer and closer to you, and the bay even seems to calm of its own accord, and you hear this kind of a gentle, like a voice raising and lowering as with the ocean, and a gentle whispering in the wind, and even a whistle. And you see kind of off to the south, underneath the water, like a wake of water as that sea monster just flees for some reason, and these boats get closer and closer to you.
Yeah, Hollis would point the ships out. Have no fear. Someone's coming to rescue us.
As they get closer and closer, you can see that the dinghies kind of almost look in this picture here, except on the ocean. They're kind of ramshackle fishing vessels type of deal. And You hear that kind of gentle whispering and the whistle. And one of the dinghies kind of rows up along you guys. And there are several men in it, and one particular one is kind of clad in a really drab, weather-beaten blue cloak, and kind of leans his head over the boat. Well, hello there! I'm sorry we have to meet under such an acquaintance. That beast has not been seen in these parts for many a long year. But alas, and he kind of looks to the horizon. The men of Westernesse bring something with them unnatural, as many men all want to do. Why are the three of you looking at me like beaten wet dogs? Climb aboard now! Here, take my hand!
Targon, his eyes he's looking a little confused, but mainly he just looks defeated. He'll put a hand up, but he doesn't seem actually to be that concerned anymore whether this man pulls him aboard or leaves him to drown.
As you grab onto his hand, his skin is wrinkled and gnarled. He has long, thin, sinewy fingers with pronounced knuckles. But as he grabs onto you, your heart is filled with warmth, and his strength, as he lifts you onto the vessel, is way beyond his years. He lifts you almost like a parent would a child onto the vessel. Don't look like a sad puppy, lad. There are things on this Middle Earth beyond that beast of the deep. Come hither. What of you, young man? He kind of looks at Baranor.
Baranor, shivering, looks up at this strange man in strange clothing, and he, raises his right hand, a little shivering and a little unsteady. And as soon as the old man grasps his hand and pulls him on board, Baranor feels like hope starting to kind of come back into his bones, into his being.
And last but not least, who is this one among you? You smell like so much rum, boy. Hop aboard before you get a sick sea belly.
Alice would grab his arm and get on. The sea is second home to us.
Oh,
That beast, though.
He kind of looks at your ship that's sinking below the water. I can see that.
That beast is such a foul nature.
Indeed it is. Not everything that dwells beneath the waves is foul, though. But there will be time enough to talk. On the shore, next to a warm hearth and a roaring fire. And the ships, you can kind of see out further into the bay, the ships that have kind of fled. With the brightening of the weather, they've kind of turned around and started headed back into the bay. Kind of looks at you. Everybody give themselves one more hope back. As you look into this old man's face, it seems to be as if illumined of its own light. And then it kind of goes dark, and again, he's actually looks very frail. And there's six other men with him. They're like, row! Row! Row to shore! The old man's not going to do it. Don't make LOTR work too hard. Row, men, row! If there's anything else, we'll end it there.
No, I think that's perfect.
Yeah, sounds like a good spot.
Where's the outro song? Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, good one.
Nice.